Hi, it's Uncle Ben, here with another episode of Life Hacks. It is currently March 24th, 2023, at about 3:10 p.m. This is my second go-around. I had some technical difficulties with setting up my phone, so I have this very interesting perspective today, an upwards perspective. So, as I said before, you all won't know this, but I'm at a point in my life in which I'm trying to determine the trajectory, the path that I want to be on, potentially for the rest of my life. I know, starting out, hard hitting, whatever. So, one of the things that happened today is I finally made a link between two aspects of thinking that I had done. So, right now I'm taking biomedical transport phenomena, basically the BME course for fluid dynamics, how water and more so blood flow through various parameters. And what we did in class today was looking at how blood flows around a curve. I'd really like to talk about that, but it's for another time. Suffice it to say that when blood is going through curves and through splits and coming back together, there are regions in which the blood flow drops a lot. And basically, you have, I believe, what are called eddy currents. I don't know if they're called that here in this space, but basically, that brought me back to a connection I had made earlier about spring break, so about 2 weeks ago now, in which I was watching a video on a civil engineering, or a video produced by a civil engineer, in which he was describing the factors, the mathematical factors in which civil engineers describe or determine whether a river is going to be depositing or eroding its banks. And what that means is rivers are not a riverbank, as with an ocean shore, a beach. Consider a beach. The waves are constantly moving up and down the beach. The water itself has a certain amount of sand already in it. And that sand has a specific weight to it. The individual grains of sand have a weight to them and a size, and that varies. Depending on certain factors, depending on how much sand is on the beach, what the sand is on the beach, and tides and all of that stuff, the beach will either grow or shrink. Sand will either be deposited or eroded. The deposition and erosion of solids, or of sediment, in a flowing system sounds a lot like blood clots and plaque buildup. One of the primary causes of heart attacks, which are one of the most common acute injuries in the US, at least. Usually 50 plus, or when you reach the age of 50 years old, you start to get into into an age in which heart attack is, I don't know the numbers, but it's a pretty high percentage of people end up having a heart attack. which a heart attack is a blockage of blood flowing through the body, whether it be an artery or a vein. Don't quote me on that part. But specific types of heart attacks called strokes, called a stroke, is when blood is blocked from getting to the brain. So you can imagine that that is a pretty serious injury. And it happens just out of the blue, which is really scary. And also, you don't show there are very few signs of heart attack before it actually happens, which means that preventative medicine is very hard. But if we were able to apply principles of something that was easier to study, or that had been easier to study in the past, rivers. We've been looking at rivers for thousands of years, and over the past hundreds of years, we've been able to develop mathematical equations describing flow parameters, how the river is flowing compared to what's going on the shores, and the snaking of rivers and all that stuff. So I figure if this connection was blatantly obvious to me when I heard both of them, I was like, okay, blood clots are a thing. We have these mathematical models to show flow. There's a specific one that talks about erosion and deposition. Well, erosion, most people know. Deposition is depositing or laying down of sand, sediment, dirt, gravel, rocks, that stuff. So, I went to Google and searched the name of the equation. It's called Lane's balance. There's a really good video on it by the civil engineering. I forget the channel. I'll put it in the comments. It's a really good video. But I searched up Lane's balance, blood. Nothing. Lane's balance, cholesterol. Nothing. Lane's balance, blood clot. Nothing. Lane's balance, clot. I got something with clots in rivers, but not anything in the biomedical space. I also did this not just on Google. I did this on searching research papers and textbooks and all that stuff. I didn't see one mention of it. So now I'm thinking, there's two possibilities here. Either I'm the very first person to try and apply this across. I'm not using the right search terms. Or there's someone who's doing it but not explicitly. Explicitly meaning they know that they're doing it. I sometimes stutter with my words. I do not do that explicitly. I do not try to do it. I don't say that I'm going to do it and then do it. Implicitly would be that you imply something that's happening. So, there might be research out there that is implicitly studying Lane's balance in blood. There probably are studies out there for that, but no one has specifically made that connection in writing. So the connection would be implicit. So, moving on, I asked my professor, is there anyone who's doing that here at UF? is there anyone who's looking at blood clotting? And she mentioned someone in her lab that her lab is currently working on a bioreactor, which is basically you make a machine to grow cells, and the cells do stuff. And depending on what you want them to do, they do different things. And that's basically it is a bioreactor. Not much there. So, I asked her, and there's some cool stuff that she's doing over there, and I'm going to get into contact with one of the grad students there, who basically is using an interdisciplinary approach for image processing. Not exactly what I was looking for, but if I found exactly what I was looking for, then I wouldn't have research to go do. They would be doing it already. So, that gets me to 11 minutes in, and now we go to Uncle Ben's life hacks. Get into the actual life hack. This is more of something to look out for, and like advice, or dare I say a little wisdom. One of the best skills, or another one of the skills that I feel like I have, iterating in this way, or saying it in this way, is multitasking, although not great at it. It's more of the fact that I get distracted sometimes has given me a competitive edge to look for. If you combine keeping your head on a swivel and being able to draw connections between things, you will notice opportunities and therefore moments of advancement where you can get ahead, or where you can do it better than other people are doing and do more at the same time, or have more time to do it, and therefore do a better job. So, if you're going to keep your head on a swivel, you need to make sure not to throw your body out of whack. It's today's metaphor. Being able to independently move your body and your head. I will now demonstrate. I'm going to keep my eyes locked on the camera. I'm going to go like this. I'm going to go like this. Example of this, riding your bike. When you're riding a bike, you don't get to a corner and you don't look straight ahead of your direction of travel, right? You look beforehand, you look back, and then as you're making that turn, you come and you're coming around the corner and you keep your eyes on where you're going. Not the direction you're currently heading, which would look like this. You come up, you start to make your turn, you lock your head on the target, and you then come around to it. If you're throwing a ball or dribbling the ball, ideally you're not looking at the ball. The ability to do something and know that it's happening and keep your attention on where the outcome of that action is going to go. It's called looking ahead. So, what I'm doing right now is I'm looking ahead to the future, metaphorically speaking, while still making my turn. While deciding where to turn, right? So one of the things that might come out of this interaction is I might end up shifting my career into fluid dynamics, which I feel like I would be decent at. Fluid dynamic modeling and experimentation therein to apply the things in civil engineering, see how they apply to the blood scale, the scale of arteries and veins and capillaries, or even how they apply to, say, air, because air is a fluid. We have contaminants in the air. Where in the lungs are those going to be deposited? Are they going to be up here? Can be down here? This can inform preventative medicine. It can inform whether the infection point of relatively heavy molecules in the air, viruses, bacteria, dust, asbestos, if that stuff is going to get caught in your mouth or your nose, then that shows you the path of transmission. Say if it's going to get caught in your ear, I don't know. The possibilities are endless. And so, keep your eye on your target. Make sure you can keep balanced with your head on a swivel. That skill is something that I am finding very applicable. I use it every day on my bike. I use it while running. And I'm trying to use it in a metaphorical sense in my life of keeping my body moving. I'm keeping my career moving forward. I am getting good grades. I'm completing my assignments. But at the same time, I am looking around. I am seeing what's out there, what piques my interest. And these are the things that I'm trying to focus on, because that's what's giving my life meaning right now. Right now, what's giving life meaning is the pursuit forward. I know at some point in my life that will not be feasible or practical. But right now, I am enjoying the pursuit, the chase. It is annoying. It's very annoying because people don't respond back all the time. My Medtronic application. It's been 4 weeks. Haven't heard anything back from the Medtronic people. So, keep your head on a swivel. Keep your body going. Just because you turn left doesn't mean you can't keep going straight. Once you have your thing of interest, lock it. Then pursue. If you pursue while you're obtaining that contact, it might have changed on you. So keep a situational awareness of both your physical and social surrounding. You can't hurt. Anyway, signing off. This has been Uncle Ben. I love you. Goodbye.